Hi, friends. Welcome to Hygge Yoga with Christine. I am so glad that you took this time to come to your mat today and to take care of yourself. I have a great sequence for you that's really going to target that low back and those tight hamstrings. So if you're ready, go ahead, grab your mat and create a quiet space for yourself. And let's go ahead and get started. Friends, once you're ready to begin your practice, let's go ahead and just make our way down to our corpse pose onto our mat. So just having your feet face the bottom of your mat, and we'll just start to slowly roll down, just making contact vertebrae by vertebrae with the ground. And once you're on your mat and you've adjusted and you're feeling comfortable, let's just extend those legs and tuck our shoulders underneath us and just take a moment to shut your eyes and turn your attention to your breath and just commit to being present for your time on the mat today. It's common for the mind to wander throughout our yoga practice, but once that happens, just bring yourself back to your breath and back to the present moment. And on our next exhale, we're gonna keep that right foot grounded as that left knee starts to float up, bent towards the chest, and just give yourself a nice big hug, bringing that left knee in, starting to feel some movement in that hip and in that lower left back. And on our next inhalation, we're going to go ahead and release the leg. And we're going to extend, pointing that left foot up towards the ceiling, or if you're outside, up towards the sky. And bring our hands behind that left thigh and point the left foot. And as we exhale, now we're going to bring that left knee back towards the chest, giving it another big squeeze. And inhale, reach and extend that leg one more time. And we'll do a few cycles of this. So exhale, flex. And inhale, reach. Exhale, flex. Inhale, reach. Two more times, exhaling. And lengthen on the inhale. Flex. And inhale, reaching that leg up. And now go ahead and take your right arm and float it out to the right side of your mat. Take your left hand and just grab your great left toe and gently allow now that left leg to fall out to the outside of the left mat. Just starting to feel some openness along that inner left leg in that left pelvic area. Finding your breath. And exhale, left leg returns up to midline. Drop that left hand and let it float out to the left side of the mat as that right hand comes up and now grabs that big toe, and cross that right leg all the way over the body. Gaze to the left, leg to the right, and you'll start to really feel that deep stretch in that left IT band. And you don't have to even go very far to feel this. So even if you just find a little bit of movement over to the right side, that will be enough to allow you to realize the benefits of the stretch. Softening your breath. And exhale, the left leg returns to midline. Now grasp your hands behind your left calf. Let's raise that head up, bringing that forehead to meet the left leg as much as possible. Okay to keep a micro bend here in the knee if that feels better on that hamstring. Now we'll go ahead and we'll lower that head back down towards your mat and take your left hand and just grab the outside of your left foot. And we'll do a half happy baby pose. So gently just bring that left knee down towards the mat, down towards the armpit, feeling that nice openness behind the left thigh. Breathing in and long exhalation out. And one more breath in. And now exhale, bring that right knee up towards the chest and just allow your left ankle to just cross over the right knee. And we'll put our hands now behind the right thigh and gently start to bring that right knee towards the chest for our reverse pigeon pose. Feeling lengthening of the lower back, feeling that openness in the left hip. And exhale, release. Now floating that left hand back out towards the left side of the mat. Let's just uncross those legs and allow these knees to fall over to the right for our supine spinal twist. Really now finding some gentle movement in that lower back, some nice rotation of that spine. Keeping that left shoulder firmly planted on the mat. And just really breathe into this spinal rotation. As you exhale, start to let go of any tension in that lower back. Finding softness in this pose. And then we're going to go ahead and release, bringing our feet back onto the mat, just adjusting our position as we need to. And now let's go ahead and just float both feet up towards the ceiling again. And I want you to just focus your attention behind these hamstrings and maybe notice that you have more length and openness on the left side after the sequence that we just did. So now we'll start to give some love and some attention to the right as we lower that left leg down with control and bending that right knee and now bringing it in for a big chest hug. Take a nice deep breath. Big inhale in. And exhale. And on our next inhale, we're just going to start to extend that right leg up, 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 pointing those toes, keeping that left leg active on the mat. And exhale, release, nice big hug. I think Felix is making his cameo appearance here. He may be in the background of this video. And inhale, reach and point, toes up towards the sky. And exhale, flex. Inhale, reach and point. And exhale, bend. 2 more times as we inhale and reach. And exhale and flex. And one more inhale up. Left hand floats out towards the left side of the mat. Right hands come up and grasp that big right toe. And now we let the right leg fall to the outside of the mat, the right side of the mat. Taking a breath. Felix really wants to be the star of the show today. Felix, my cat. And then exhale, let's bring that right leg back up to midline and release the right hand, floating it out to the right, grasping that right great toe with your left hand now. Gaze comes towards the right hand and cross that leg over across the body towards the left. Feeling now that wonderful stretch on the right IT band. And release to midline. Now just grasping behind the right calf, we'll lift that head up, bringing it to meet the right leg, going deeper into that right hamstring. Feeling that lengthening behind the right leg. And exhale, head comes back towards the mat. Grasping now the outside of the right foot for half happy baby. Right knee comes down towards the mat, towards the armpit. Finding that openness now along the back of the right thigh and in that right hip and also in the front of that left hip flexor. And now let's float that left knee up as that right ankle comes over the top of the left knee, hugging the left leg in towards the chest now for our reverse pigeon pose. You can kind of hook that right elbow right into the crook of that right knee. Just take a moment just to really check in with yourself. How's it feeling? Bringing yourself back to this present moment if your mind starts to wander. And now we'll uncross those legs, right arm floats out and knees over towards the left for our supine spinal twist. And exhale, let's go ahead now. Releasing in, bringing both knees up towards the chest. We're just going to kind of curl up like a ball. Just one more big hug, lengthening that back, taking some pressure off that lower back. And then we're just going to rock and roll, coming up into a half boat pose. And one more time, rolling back and up, holding our half boat. And from here, we're going to make our way over to our tabletop position. So planting your hands on the mat, knees are underneath the hips, engaging all 4 points of contact with the ground. And we'll invite some more movement into our back, specifically our lower back, with a few rounds of our cat-cow. So dropping the belly down towards the mat, gaze comes up on the inhalation for our cow. And exhale, now curving that spine, gaze to the navel, dropping the tailbone for our cat. And inhale, looking up for cow. Deep breath, and exhale, releasing into our cat. One more time on the inhale, looking up. And exhale, releasing into our cat. And let's return to our neutral tabletop position. And from our tabletop, we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to push our weight into our hands as those hips come up and back for our downward facing dog. Taking big steps, bending those knees, walking that dog. Feeling that nice gentle stretch in your hamstrings. Finding your breath. And now heels come together and gently release as far as you comfortably can into your downward facing dog. Bringing those heels down. Okay if they don't come that far. Absolutely okay to keep a nice micro bend in the knees. And on our next inhale, we're going to float that left leg up into our three-legged dog. And exhale, coming forth into our runner's lunge. Left knee is nice and bent, sinking into that right hip flexor. And now drop that right knee as we extend and lengthen that left leg, squaring our hips. So by squaring our hips, we just gently bring and actively that left hip back as that right hip just comes forward and into our half monkey splits. So again, if your hamstrings feel too tight, just keep a little bend in that left knee. Wherever you're at, we're going to inhale and lengthen that spine. And exhale, just start to lower the forehead down towards the mat. Neck is nice and long and soft. Really now going into that hamstring. Keeping that left foot flexed. Just really allowing ourselves just to sink into this pose. And now on our next inhale, we're going to come back into our runner's lunge. Finding our foundation, finding our grounding and our place on the mat. And now keeping those hips square, extend that left leg for our pyramid pose. Again, you might want to keep that left knee just slightly bent if your hamstrings are not liking this. Just go to your edge, to your comfort, and then inhale, let's lengthen that spine, and exhale, again, slowly release as far as feels comfortable, that forehead down to the front of the left shin. Gaze is actually toward behind you, back towards that right foot. And now inhale, we're going to go ahead and just bring now that left foot back to meet the right, pushing back up into our downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg now floats up for three-legged dog. Exhale, right foot comes up and through, coming between the hands. Runner's lunge on the other side. And just take a moment just to find your space in your runner's lunge. And then we're going to drop that left knee and extend the right leg for our half split, keeping that right foot engaged, squaring those hips. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale as far as feels good for you. Lower down towards that right leg. Really just breathing into that right hamstring, giving it space, giving it energy. Just feeling that softness as you exhale. And then inhale, returning to runner's lunge, raising that left knee, adjusting your stance, finding your foundation again. And exhaling now, right leg straightens for pyramid pose. Micro adjustment to the hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, lower down towards that right leg. Gaze starts to go back towards the left foot. Throughout our practice, we've really gently started to warm up the hamstring muscles. Stretch that lower back. And at this point in our practice, our muscles are starting to feel a little bit warmer. Finding a breath. And on your next inhale, let's come back to runner's lunge. And bring now that left foot up to meet the right for our standing forward fold. Just allowing ourselves to come down gently towards the mat, folding at the hips, keeping a soft bend, keeping your neck nice and long, really allowing that lower back to release. Breathing in and out. Filling your lungs with positive energy on your inhale. And just release on your exhale. And inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands are planted on the mat. Feet come back, pushing back into our downward facing dog one more time. And exhale, releasing into our child's pose. So let your hips sink back. And in child's pose, our forehead is resting on the mat. Our hips are coming back as comfortably as they can towards the heels. For some of us, that will just vary how far back that is, depending on where our bodies are and what we're feeling today. Fingers are just going to gently walk up towards the top of the mat, and you're going to feel a nice extension all the way from your shoulders, upper back, down towards your sacrum. And just take a moment here to be present. And on our next inhale, we're going to come up and let's find our way to our seated easy pose, whatever that looks like for you. It may be your legs crossed in front of you or whatever feels comfortable. And let's just take one big deep breath together as we inhale, and arms come up towards the ceiling, and exhale, releasing hands to heart center. Thank you, friends, for joining me for this practice today. I hope it felt good for your body and mind. And if you like this practice, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing or sharing with family and friends. And I hope you have a great day wherever you are at. Love and light to all of you. Namaste.